everybody. I wanted to tell you about a fantastic series called You're a Bad Man, Mr. Gum. This is the first book in the series. It's a really good idea when you're reading a series of books to read them in chronological order, so to read the first one because it kind of introduces you to the character. The books are by Andy Stanton. So I've got, this is the first one, You're a Bad Man, Mr. Gum. And I've got some others here. What's for Dinner, Mr. Gum? Mr. Gum, the Biscuit Billionaire, with the Biscuit Billionaire. Mr. Gum and the Power Crystals. Mr. Gum and the Dancing Bear. And Mr. Gum and the Goblins. I don't think that's all of the books in the series, but that's just the ones that we've got at home. If you are a fan of Roald Dahl books and David Walliams and you're not really sure what to read next, then these books are definitely for you. They are hilariously funny. This first book is a 5.4 in our school library, so you'd find it in the red section. The series kind of ranges from sort of middle 4.5 and upwards, so starting off in the yellow and going into the red section of our library. Some of the books that are in the higher range tend to be higher because they've got a lot of made up tricky words. So if you've got an adult or perhaps an older brother or sister that could help you with some of those tricky words, I'm sure that you would be fine reading and quizzing on this book. And I would say really anybody from the age of 6 upwards. There's a little bit of an upsetting part of this book where the dog dies, which might upset some of the younger children, but it's told in a funny way, if that could be a funny thing. It's told in a funny way. So yeah, give these books a go. I'm just going to read you a little bit about Mr. Gum from the beginning of the story. Mr. Gum was a fierce old man with red beard and 2 bloodshot eyes that stared out at you like an octopus curled up in a bad cave. He was a complete horror who hated children, animals, fun, and corn on the cob. What he liked was snoozing in bed all day, being lonely and scowling at things. He slept and scowled and picked his nose and ate it. Most of the townsfolk of Lamomic Bibba avoided him, and the children were so terrified of him. Their mothers would say, "Go to bed when I tell you, or Mr. Gum will come and shout at your toys and leave slime on your books." And that usually did the trick. Mr. Gum lived in a great big house in the middle of town. Actually, it wasn't that great, because he turned it into a disgusting pigsty. The rooms were filled with junk and pizza boxes. Empty milk bottles lay around like wounded soldiers in a war against milk, and there were old newspapers from years and years ago with headlines like "Vikings invade Britain" and "World's first newspaper invented today." Insects lived in the kitchen cupboards. Not just small insects, but great big ones with faces and names and jobs. Mr. Gum's bedroom was absolutely grimsters. The wardrobe contained so much mould and old cheese that there was hardly any room for his moth-eaten clothes, and the bed was never made. And I don't mean that the duvet was never put back on. I mean, the bed had never, ever been made. Mr. Gum hadn't gone to the bother of assembling it. He'd just chucked all the bits of wood on the floor and dumped a mattress on top. There was broken glass in the windows, and the ancient carpet was the colour of unhappiness and smelt like the toilet. Anyway, I could be here all day going on about Mr. Gum's house, but I think you've got the idea. Mr. Gum was an absolute laser who couldn't be bothered with niceness and tidying and brushing his teeth, or anyone else's teeth for that matter. I'll leave it there. I don't want to spoil the story anymore. But if you want a book that's going to make you laugh out loud, I mean, there is a crazy fairy in this story who lives in Mr. Gum's bathtub, who comes out and smashes him over the head all the time with a frying pan. Just crazy things like that. If you want a book that's going to make you laugh all the time, then definitely give these books a go. Bye for now.